all those moments will be lost in time.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm here, I'm Wigless, and we're going to be talking about Tess Holliday. Now, I've wanted to talk about Tess Holliday for a while, but I just simply never got around to it. However, she is now the cover girl of Cosmopolitan, and I think this is the right time to bring up quite a few things that I find wrong with Tess Holliday and with the fact that she's on the cover of Cosmopolitan. Though I do think Cosmo is a trash magazine, I still don't think she should be on the cover of the trash magazine. So let's get into why. EllieJayden also made a video about this that I definitely think you should check out after, because her video is very factual while she states opinions, and she also brings in another facet of this whole discussion. So I'll link that down below, but definitely make sure to check that out. Where to begin? So Tess Holliday is a plus size model, but I feel like she's more than plus size. She is effectively obese, and I have nothing against fat people, overweight people, obese people, none of them. I don't have anything against them. I don't have a problem with them. I have problem with pushing false narratives or ideologies that are harmful, okay? Kate Moss once said, "Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels." And I remember, even as like a young person, thinking how fucked up of a thing that is to say. So being skinny is essentially being put as the paramount worry in your life rather than being healthy. And I hated that. We've had a whole period of time when models were way too thin, and EllieJayden gets into that. That point of time where models were extremely anorexic and really unhealthy, I'm not saying that all models now are healthy, but it's better than it used to be. Like, that was horrible, and I never thought it was okay to put anorexic models on magazines, on catwalks, or anything, okay? The thing is, putting obese people on catwalks, on magazines, whatever, is the equivalent. These are two opposite poles that are equally harmful. The thing is, when I talk about this pole, the obesity side pole, people get pissed, thinking that I don't feel the same way about the anorexia pole. But being someone that's had an eating disorder, I take the anorexia side of the pole very seriously too. The thing is, we've kind of gotten over that. We're in a period of time where the goal is to be thick or slim thick. So the goal is to be hourglass, it's to have a huge ass, it's to have big tits, and just be that hourglass shape. And it's also, I guess, en vogue to be plus size. And there's nothing wrong with being plus size, because to me, plus size and obese are not the same. Tess Holliday is obese, okay? Let's talk about facts about obesity. Most of the world's population live in countries where overweight and obesity kills more than people underweight. What are the consequences of being obese, you might ask? So you can have cardiovascular diseases, so heart disease, strokes, which were the leading cause of death in 2012, by the way, diabetes, musculoskeletal disorders, obviously, especially osteoarthritis, some cancers including endometrial, breast, ovarian, prostate, liver, gallbladder, kidney, and colon. So the risk for these diseases increases as the BMI increases. There's an article that was posted on Vox, and it's talking about this study. The study came to the conclusion that obesity now kills more people worldwide than car crashes, terror attacks, and Alzheimer's combined. This article was posted June 19th, 2017. So this is not old news, okay? The study itself comes from the New England Journal of Medicine. I can link you to the article so you can look at it for yourself. We cannot pretend that obesity is just this little thing that is like a minor inconvenience that causes some little problems. No, like there are big problems, like there's a lot at stake here, and I feel like people are too scared to talk about it. But dude, I mean, honestly, you're not going to talk about something that's killing people? Moving on, let's talk about Tess Holliday specifically. So Tess Holliday in 2015 was in a scandal where essentially she was selling t-shirts that say F your beauty standards. So essentially what ended up happening is that around 140 people who ordered those t-shirts did not get those t-shirts, and it took forever for them to get refunded. She was then supposed to donate the proceeds to a domestic violence charity because she is a victim of domestic violence, sadly, and she didn't do that, or only ended up giving $1,000. It's all very confusing and a lot of articles are contradictory, so I'm sorry that these facts are a little bit murky. There are plenty of videos on YouTube talking about this experience and like Tess Holliday generally that I'd suggest that you look into, of people who have experienced her either face to face or through this scandal. Now let's talk about another thing about Tess Holliday. Someone, I don't know if they're a subscriber of mine, sent me through Twitter an article that they thought I should read. It's an article from Self magazine. I've never heard of it, so I don't know what its credibility is. It's a very long article, and the person told me that it would probably bring up things I never thought of in terms of Tess Holliday. So the article is very long. I'm gonna put a screenshot here of how much I had to scroll and read through. Anyway, what we find out in this article is that Tess Holliday had a very hard life growing up. She had a domestic abuse situation. There is a lot that happened in her life, but I don't really want to go into that. Anyway, the only thing I found that made me think differently about her was that there was a very ironic part in this article. She discusses the fact that, you know, having all these responsibilities and being famous and having these trolls can lead to mental illness in the sense of anxiety, of depression, and she had postpartum depression, by the way. She says she worries that her fans and followers might take this shift the wrong way because she's begun to eat differently, and she says, "I'm still gonna eat Cheetos and all of that." She understands that a brand built on self-acceptance and a supportive community built around that ethos might question changes in her lifestyle if they come across as abandoning this core philosophy. It's complicated. Honestly, I think that if you're a real fan of someone, self-acceptance doesn't mean that you can't change. Self-acceptance means that sometimes you have to change to be healthier. Just saying, like, you don't need to stay the same for self-acceptance to be valid. And I think that any fan would support you being healthier, even if that's like a change in your brand or something. She then says, "I feel guilty. The amount of people who get thrust into the limelight and they're plus size, they lose weight. The more successful they get, the more weight they lose. It's hard because those people don't owe staying fat to anyone. It's their body and what they want to do. But there is also a sense of betrayal that people with bigger bodies feel, and it's hard because you're in your head. I've thought this about many people where you're like, is it their choice? Were they pressured into losing weight?" Holliday sees the irony in this thought, given her aversion to concern, trolling, and questions about her health being directed at her. So, in the beginning of the article, they had talked about how anyone who says, hey, you know, like, it's actually dangerous to be obese is a concerned troll. So essentially they're not actually concerned, they're just pretending to be concerned. And they're saying that to be mean or something, I don't know. But ironically here, Tess proves that it's actually very easy to be genuinely concerned, unless Tess is the only person in the universe who can be concerned about these other actors losing weight, you know? So the only thing I see here is irony, because she goes on and on about these concerned trolls and how she doesn't answer them anymore because it's none of their business and they should mind their own business and her health is none of our business. This is the problem. When you are on the cover of a magazine, you are being put on a pedestal, okay? Automatically, you're being put on a pedestal because there's a photo shoot around you, there's an article about you, people are gonna look up to you because a lot of people wish they were on the cover of magazines. And we cannot set her as an example of what it is to be a healthy individual, okay? Like, Cosmopolitan, as far as I know, has articles about healthy and safe sex, has articles about general health and how to lose weight even, so it's ironic that they'd put Tess Holliday, but it's crazy to me that nobody is really saying this and we're promoting this ideal. This is the same as promoting being anorexic, okay? You cannot be healthy at any weight. That's not a real statement, okay? Tell me how you can be healthy at 600 pounds. Surely there are like illnesses that can make you gain weight, and that's a different story. But to put Tess Holliday on the cover of Cosmopolitan and act like it's not a problem because she isn't representing a majority. She's representing some people, all whom are at risk. And I'm not saying these people should hate themselves. I'm not saying they shouldn't be confident. You should be confident in your body, but you should also be confident in the fact that you need to change and be healthier. And that goes for people who are like average weight too. I'd tell them to be healthier. When I see someone of average weight, I don't assume they're healthy. When I see someone of thin, I don't assume they're healthy or unhealthy. But when I see someone of super thin, like where you can see their bones and ribs, I know something's wrong. And the same way when you see someone that's way overweight and is obese and has gained weight actually, as you'll see in EllieJayden's video, you know, I just wonder, why are we promoting this? Because by putting her on a cover, automatically we're promoting this, and I find a problem with that. Not only because of essentially the glorification of obesity, but because of all these other things that, like the scandal. Like, I'm not saying that she's necessarily a bad person, but it's just like, out of all the people that we can put up on this pedestal that is the cover of a magazine, why don't we put people who are average weight? I'm just saying that I think that at this point it would have been better to put someone of average weight who doesn't have the typical, you know, ideal body like the hourglass figure I mentioned before. But promoting someone who is obese, I don't understand. And like I said before, I don't hate obese people, I don't hate fat people, and I'm not fake concern trolling or whatever it's called. Wouldn't you want everyone around you to be healthy, just genuinely? Like, I don't know why it has to be a troll just because you're saying something that's factual that people don't want to hear. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always. Remember to check out EllieJayden's video. Link will be in the description, and let's get right into the fan art.
Tess claims her ethos is body positivity and body acceptance, and is considered by many to be a positive role model within the modeling industry. Recently, Tess Holliday was made the cover star of Cosmopolitan magazine, which garnered her a lot of support as well as a lot of criticism. In the interview, she stated that she is currently at her heaviest in terms of weight, and that she wished she loved herself sooner. I was a US 16 to 18 my entire life before I had Riley. I look back at those photos and I don't wish I was that size, but I wish that I loved myself 120 pounds ago.